Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
You know, sometimes you just wish that there are stories that never had to be told. And if you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean that you're in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast where we sit down with a wide ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals and we pick their brain about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more in a light and in a conversational fashion. And, you know, if you like how we do things around here, I will go out on a limb and assume that you do, because let's face it, you're listening. And if you are, please keep listening. And subscribe. Hit the old subscribe button. Gives you a 5-star rating and thumbs up and likes on your podcast provider of choice. We're available pretty much everywhere. Places like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and plus we archive every single one of our episodes over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So if you can give us a like and subscribe there as well, we would absolutely appreciate it. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on social media. We're on the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Letterboxd, the TikTok, the Blue Sky, the Threads. I lose track. There's so many. But we're there at In the Seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca, for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the moving image at large. Because guess what? If we live to watch it and write about it and talk about it, we love it all that much more when you come by and read about it and listen about it. So please do us the ultimate kindness, come on by and pay us a visit. On this very special episode, we are with our friends over at Paramount Plus and their new short-form documentary, The Children of October 7th, which is a terrifying but vital piece of cinema about the Israeli children who were affected by the October 7th Hamas terror attacks. It's hosted and produced by social media activist Montana Tucker, who goes into detail in describing how they survived, how they survived captivity, parental loss, home invasion, and how they're all processing trauma. It's a raw watch, but I mean, credit to the entire team at Paramount Plus and Montana for bringing these very vital and important stories to light. We had the chance to talk with Montana about the process of him being approached and making the film and the work that she does, and kind of the fact that we should never have to be made in the first place. But like I said, go check out The Children of October 7th, which is on Paramount Plus now on all across all regions. It's everywhere. If you have Paramount Plus, it's an important and vital watch. But first, enjoy our talk with Montana, because it's a pretty good one. All right. Well, Montana, obviously, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for the time today. I really do appreciate this. And I mean, as much as part of me wants to congratulate you on the project, I mean, at the same time, there's like, I almost wish these kids didn't have to this project didn't have to exist and have their stories to be told.
Well, thank you. So, first of all, thank you for taking time and doing this piece, and thank you for all of that. And I agree. I wish we didn't have to do it, but unfortunately, it is necessary.
No, I mean, I guess my first question is, I guess obviously after the initial tragedy, like how soon did the ball get rolling, sort of with you, or something approach you to go, hey, listen, there's these kids and their stories to be told. Let's get out there and do it.
Well, so immediately after October 7th, I personally started really taking over my social media to talk about what was going on there. I went to Israel for the first time after October 7th in December of 2023. So I already started meeting with survivors and hostage families and survivors of the festival and of the kibbutzim. And before this, I did a lot of work with kids. Like if you look at my social media, you'll see I've done a lot of dance videos, a lot of fun projects with children. I've always had a special connection to them. So when the producers reached out to me about this project, actually, it was an immediate yes, like absolutely. And at the time, it was just let's film it. We didn't have like a plan necessarily to go to a streamer or anything. It was just to film it. And they asked, okay, like how much would you charge for this project? And I said, absolutely nothing. I refuse. I want to do this. I'm so passionate about this. Um, they did such a great job on doing the research on these kids. And, these kids felt comfortable with me because some of them might have known me from TikTok or from my dance videos. And they had to recount the story. I mean, their stories, their testimonies a year after October 7th. We interviewed them 1 year actually afterwards.
Wow.
Of course, there's a lot of prep going into it, but yeah, it was 1 year after October 7th. And gosh, a lot has happened since even the filming. I mean, even in the end of the documentary, you'll see when we filmed the documentary, two of the fathers of the kids, there was still proof of life in captivity. And so when I'm speaking to them, we're speaking as if, the fathers are going to come home. And like, I think it was like less than a month after the concluding of filming, the fathers' bodies were returned. They were murdered in captivity. So it's just, I mean, listen, every day it's something new. But for me, this documentary, it's solely about the children. It's not political. It doesn't go into the conflict. It's just these kids recounting what happened to them on that day, what has happened to them since then, and it's just their testimonies, and that's it.
When you're sitting down with these kids, I mean, I'm curious because obviously, like you said, you've got extensive work with kids and experience there, but at this, I can imagine it's a difficult balance. On one end, you are kind of interviewing them to sort of get their story, but at the same time, you kind of have to let them talk and not sort of re-traumatize themselves in the process. Like, how do you sort of thread the needle and sort of get them to sort of open up and to sort of genuinely tell their story?
We had a psychiatrist there on set as well. That was really important to us to make sure a psychiatrist was there. God forbid anything, the kids felt any kind of stress or uncomfortability. Um, and that's why I really wanted them to feel comfortable talking to me. If you notice, like in the interviews, they don't feel like your typical one-on-one, sit down, very strict interview. They're on the couch, or we're more comfortable, or we're kind of just talking. And I had, of course, a bunch of questions prepared beforehand, but I really wanted them to talk. And if I felt that they were, not really wanting to answer a question or not get into something, like I wouldn't pry on it, we'd move on to the next thing. And I wanted to make them comfortable to talk. And they all really did. They all really shared their stories in such a powerful way. And so many people ask me every time, like all the time, like, how did you not break down after hearing them? Every single time they spoke, you want to just cry, and you're so angry and you're so upset. And it's because I would look them in the eyes, and they were so strong, and they kept me strong. But it's just so difficult. But these kids, they want their stories out there. They want people to know what happened to them. They want people to not forget what happened to them. I'm the grand of two Holocaust survivors, and my grandmother was 13 years old when she was taken to Auschwitz. And my grandparents did the Shoah Foundation, Steven Spielberg's Shoah Foundation, and they recorded their testimonies years after the Holocaust. These kids were recording their testimonies 1 year after what happened to them, and while it is still going on, still
Right.
fresh. So it's very sensitive, but like I said, extremely necessary.
I was so struck by the young man who told the story of having to hide under his mother's body. I mean, you asked him why, and it was just a question of, I'm honoring her by doing that because if I, like she laid down her life to save my life, and this is the least I can do. This is what I have to do. And I mean, that felt so emblematic of just everything that's been going on. Like how much of a thread was that in speaking to these kids because it really felt like I mean, as much as it's horrible and they miss their loved ones, there was a sense of almost duty and honor to sort of be able to be there and tell the story.
I think that was a common theme with all the kids, right? They all went through the unthinkable, the unimaginable, and they all had their own individual heartbreaking experience. But all of them were strong and wanting, again, the world to know what happened to them, wanting to make sure that they continue on with their lives. One of the young boys, Eitan, he was kidnapped on a motorcycle, and now he rides motorbikes as a
Mm.
form of therapy. How crazy is that? That he was literally kidnapped on a motorbike, and now he rides motorbikes as a form of therapy. And I think he would be 13 now. I mean, come on. Like, you can't even these kids are so strong and so resilient. One of the young girls, Yael Idan, we actually brought her to Los Angeles and New York for the premieres. It's her first time in America. And I brought her here. She's become like a little sister to me, and took her around and everything. And she's so young. Her Hamas broke into her family's house, killed her sister right in front of her, then took her mother's cell phone and started a live stream on the mom's Facebook for all her friends and family in the world to see what happened to them. And this girl, she was sitting there talking to the terrorists, trying to figure it everything out at 11 years old. and she, now came to LA, and on the day of the premiere in LA, it was her father's birthday. It would have been, it was the first birthday since the father has been passed away, or murdered. I'm sorry, not passed away, murdered. And she was so strong, sitting there speaking for him and saying, we must not stop until all the hostages are home. I mean, it's like, it's crazy. These kids, they're so strong. And again, they keep me going every day, and all I can hope and pray for. And I made that promise to them that the whole world would hear and see their testimonies. And that's all I could keep doing.
Well, for sure, 100%. And I mean, it's one of those things because, I mean, obviously, we live in such a turbulent time and a day and age with everything that's going on in the world. It feels like projects like this, streamers like Paramount, and even social media and all the sort of platforms that we all have are more important now than ever to sort of sort of redouble down on that old adage that if we don't remember our history, if we don't tell the history, we're doomed to repeat it. Like, how big is it of a factor is that from you in doing this work and being able to sort of just try to spread the word and get it out there?
Well, for myself, especially, that is so true because, like I said before, I'm the granddaughter of Holocaust.
Yeah.
My grandmother was 13. That's the age of some of the kids that I interviewed. She was 13 when she was taken to Auschwitz. She was 13 years old when she witnessed Mengele beat up her mother and to her almost her death, and then drag her to the gas chambers to her actual death. What my grandma witnessed was the unimaginable. Same with these kids. Obviously, you can't compare the two, but what happened on October 7th was the deadliest day of Jews since the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So, you have to take that into to consideration. And my Zadie, he passed away 5 years ago, because Zadie means grandpa in Yiddish, and my Zadie passed away 5 years ago, and he used to always wear a pin that said, "Never forget, never again," and "Survivor." And he would talk to anybody he met about the Holocaust and what he went through to make sure nothing like that would ever happen again. So that is why this work is so important to me, and why this has been not even like a thought in my mind of me doing it, why I've had to do this from day one, is because there's no other option. This is the time we all have to do everything we can to make sure that never again, never forget really is true. And we have to make sure that what happened on October 7th never happens again.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's one of those, it's the simplest of ideas that, we always think, oh, never forget. Oh, that's easy. It's like, no, it's not as easy as it always seems. You got to put in the work to make it happen. And I mean, I'm really happy that you've been doing that and just with this project and everything that you do. And I mean, I'm glad it's out there now for the world to see. But Montana, just thank you for the work. And thank you for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. No, thank you so much. And also, I just want to make sure I thank Paramount Plus and MTV Documentary Films for
Absolutely. Yeah.
giving this project, a platform. Obviously, I have my social media, 14 million followers, but to get it off social media and be on one of the top streaming services around the world is a huge deal. And I'm just so grateful that they gave these kids a voice. So, yeah.
More eyeballs, the better. Absolutely. Montana, thank you so much again for the time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.